Hey Melbourne. My name is Raphael Schaad, and I'm an engineer at Flipboard. And I want to start today, that's it. Start today talking about the exact mechanics of the flipping transformation of a CA layer. No. I'm going to share a story with you. What my path was from the Alp Valley I'm from to Silicon Valley, where I'm now. And I'm going to share 3 things with you I've learned along the way about teaming up and executing with great people, shipping, and about ideas. In 2009, I recorded this video in my student apartment. I believe there's like whiskey bottles in the back and the poker table. It shows René, a friend of mine.
Mein Name ist René Jaun. Ich bin 28 und wohne in Bern und bin offensichtlich, wie man sieht, vollständig blind. Ich habe immer ein Problem, ich wohne ganz allein.
And I'm going to pause him right there. René is blind. But he lives completely on his own with his dog in his apartment. From time to time, he has friends over, which can see. And since he literally lives in the dark, after a couple of minutes, the friends ask them awkwardly, where's the light switch? And René goes, oh, that's right, you need that, huh? So they discover the light switch and they switch it on, and time passes and they leave. And René is left with the light on, and the light toggle is designed in a way it's a toggle switch, so he can't really tell whether the light is on or off, and he's there alone in his apartment. And for this particular challenge, his dog couldn't help him. But for going through life, teaming up with his dog is essential. So after I pulled off some worthwhile solo apps, I felt pretty alone. And I thought, one man is no man. And I had this dream of doing something greater. And so I teamed up with Oliver from IA for taking a new approach at how word processors could work. I started developing a lot of prototypes on the Mac. That was back when the world didn't know anything about any tablet device from Apple. So in early 2010, Apple announced the iPad. And I immediately saw this big opportunity that this could be the device that basically defines modern typewriter. And I stopped development on the Mac immediately and started looking at the iPad. I jumped on a plane to Tokyo. We built and released IA Writer. It hit the App Store, and it was featured by Apple and became the most selling writing app in the App Store, right behind Apple's Pages. Building Writer, our design process, was kind of like a chess game. Just one-on-one, back and forth. And we did that until we hit the sweet spot. And it was a really great process. It worked out really well. At that time, briefly back in Switzerland, I was planning to bicycle with the cherry blossom front, Sakura, from the south of Japan all the way up to the north. And while doing so, kind of figure out whether I want to move my whole personal and professional life to Tokyo. On March 11th, 2011, an earthquake with the magnitude of 9.0 just off the coast of Japan triggered a powerful tsunami, causing the largest nuclear disaster since Chernobyl in 1986, the year I was born. And this radioactive cloud started marching towards Tokyo, where my new friends live, and where my future home could be, and where I would continue working with amazing people, building and leading a software team, redefining how people write, basically continuing my dream. So in summer 2011, when Writer was released and featured, another app was released and featured as well. And I think all of us developers from around the world, in my case, I grew up in this tiny valley in the Swiss Alps, dreamed at some point of going to Silicon Valley and work for a real startup. And so, yeah, after a couple of Skype calls, I sat on a plane, my whole life packed in one suitcase, gave everything else to friends, my notebook with me, never been to the US before, flew to the SF San Francisco International Airport, arrived on a Sunday evening, took a cab down to Palo Alto, the heart of Silicon Valley, slept us all 10 hours in a hotel, next morning, Monday, walked down the street and arrived in front of this garage door. I immediately felt like this is where magic is happening. By the way, we also have a proper entrance, but I much rather prefer the garage door. And Steve Jobs used to have a small office right across the street. And you bump into all those people we see in our geeky videos we watch online just when you grab coffee. And I think if you were an artist in the Renaissance, you could do great art everywhere, but the magic really happened in Florence. We software engineers and designers are currently shaping how the world works. This is pretty amazing times. and I personally think, that there is something really magical to be in Palo Alto, kind of the Florence of our times. But when I flew down here for the conference, it was the first time I came to Australia. And I mean, I get it. You board the plane in the US and you spend a whole day in the plane, and you fly, arrive here, different side of the globe, same shit. So when I had coffee, first when I arrived here with Anthony and Lauren, who put together this amazing conference, really great, I took a photo. And so back in the hotel, I pull out my iPhone and launched Photos app. And it was still set to show the map view. And what I saw was this. And I was like, holy shit, I'm on a different side of the world. Like, and that's when it dawned to me that the world got so small that it doesn't matter whether you're from Switzerland, work in Tokyo, in the US, or whether you're Australian engineer paired up with a US designer like Matt and Nevin did, and releasing, the next 8-bit blockbuster video game. So working with talented people, building something great is amazing. And the tools we use are no different. We sketch a lot. We make pixel-perfect comps for usually every single screen. And we extract the assets. And with great engineering, we bring the app to life. When Mike recently came back from a trip to Japan, we just launched the Japanese edition of Flipboard last week. He told me that Japanese people really appreciated our aesthetics. Really clean. And so Mike explained to them how we sometimes debate for hours about the tiniest details, sometimes really painful. And the Japanese guys, they immediately said, that's kodawari. It's all the small things that matter. And Mike went, yes, that's us. And the Japanese people are like, woo, that's awesome. And so we take a lot of care of the details, and if something doesn't feel quite right, we go back to the drawing board and start over. So finding the right people to work with is pretty easy. If you do great work and you behave like your mom told you to, don't think too highly of yourself, you'll be amazed by how many doors just open. So basically, don't be a dick. So that's number one. Team up. Teaming up and executing with great people is something really, really powerful. So you now teamed up, and with your great team, built something. Now, second, you got to ship. No matter the circumstances, no matter how many imperfections you see in your app, put it out there. Just put it out there. And that's the only way how people can see it. After working on the core of Flipboard for almost a year back then, it was during a huge push the whole team has done for a major new release of Flipboard. We were wrapping things up and felt pretty good about the release. And at some point, it's the last commit, right? You have to ship. On a Saturday afternoon, I was sitting in a coffee shop in San Francisco by myself, made that very last commit, bumped the bundle version, and made the final build on this very notebook. I submitted Flipboard over the flanky coffee shop Wi-Fi connection and basically shipped those pixels and bits in the hands of millions of people from a coffee shop in San Francisco. After that, I sure ordered Bellini and high-fived the universe. And it's pretty amazing. It's amazing times. And you are able to build great shit. I'm sure nobody here cares really about how TCP packets exactly get routed through the network circular thing in the air. I'm sure it's pretty sophisticated and actually remember bits and pieces from computer science classes, but that's solved, done. Don't care about that. And with your skills you can build great products on a really high level, reaching millions of people. So developers, step up the game. You have a huge opportunity here. Don't get bitter. I recently stumbled over this awesome bit. Dear optimist, pessimist, and realist, while you guys were busy arguing about the glass of water, I drank it. Best the opportunist. That's you. And that was second. Ship it. And then also celebrate it. So, if you don't have an idea yet for a problem to solve, great ideas are everywhere. There are millions of them. For example, create the best viewing experience on an iPad for Pinterest and have a ridiculous huge user base in 6 months. Build a better iMovie clone with collaborative features where you and your friends can edit videos together after a party and sell it for $1, hundreds of thousands of copies in the App Store. They're everywhere. And something really strikes you when you move to the US and in general when you're traveling around the globe, how all the systems don't work together at all. And that's a problem. And right there, that's an idea, right? So if you think out of your box you will develop a passion for new problems and find the ideas to them. In my case, it was solving real-world problems with technology. Like, that's good to be fixed at some point. It's like the big fucking problems. And with all the interesting problems we could solve over the past several years, I kind of begin to look of how far we have come, but also, with any luck, how far we have yet to go. So, ideate with everybody, execute with a team, and ship with some booze. Ideate with everybody, and then execute with a great team, pair up, and then ship it. When my friend, René, couldn't tell whether the lights were on or off, a light went on for me. I had an idea to solve a problem. A couple of days later, I learned hacking the iPhone, and with my computer vision background from university, my first Hello World application was basically transforming visual light into audio feedback and letting blind people even find light sources.
Okay.
Thank you very much.